Back soreness is a fairly common problem in horses that compete athletically. Even though many of their issues occur in the lower limbs, the back is a large part of their anatomy. Most horses compete with a rider on their back, which is added weight. So it's a part of their structure that is exposed to a lot of excessive biomechanical forces. Now, they are constructed in such a way to put up with all of those problems, if you will. They have large musculature, and the bony columns of the back is structured in such a way that it is designed to accommodate a rider. But that being said, many horses, for a variety of reasons, can develop back soreness. And as a horse owner, it's probably important to try and determine what might be causing it, how to recognize it, and ultimately what can you do about it. Most horses that develop back soreness will have a change in their attitude, and they often become more what people call cranky. They know when they're being brought in to be saddled that they're going to experience discomfort while being used. So a lot of them become more resistant to the saddling process. Some become what people call cinchy. As their girth is tightened, they flinch, they don't like it. As far as what they do for their athletic endeavor, it just changes. They don't do it as freely and easily. They're not as successful at doing it. Some examples would be if a cutting horse is back sore, it won't stop as well. If a barrel horse has back soreness, their behavior will sometimes change where instead of turning at a barrel, they run off or they don't turn it real cleanly. Horses that go over jumps will either jump poorly or hesitate or totally balk at a jump. There's often a very noticeable behavior change. Sometimes it's a bit insidious. It doesn't happen overnight, but ultimately it will affect their performance. So one of the key things to look for is a change in behavior and a change in performance. How else might you recognize it? Well, some horses, when you're grooming them, if their back is sore, they don't like to be groomed. They'll flinch and move away from the brush. If you were to take your fingers and gently run it down a horse's back, you can actually put on a normal horse quite a lot of pressure and they don't even notice you're there. The back sore horse will start to dip its back, may get muscle spasms. It becomes quite obvious that they have a soreness issue affecting their back. Now, one of the key things that needs to be sorted out, and this is where it'll probably take some professional help, is does the horse have a primary back soreness problem, or does it have a lameness problem affecting its limbs that has made it use its body differently when it's performing its athletic events, and it has secondary back soreness? So a key item to be sorted out in the back sore horse is, does it have a concurrent lameness issue? A good example of that would be horses who develop soreness in their hock joints, the equivalent of our ankle joint. They use their bodies differently, such that they often get quite sore in the lumbar region of their back. If you address the soreness in their hocks, often the back soreness will disappear on its own. Now, even though that's a secondary back soreness, it may not go away on its own. There may need to be some added help to get it to totally clear, but you need to rule out lameness as a cause. And another key area to consider is the saddle that you're using fit the horse correctly. Because if it isn't, it doesn't matter what you do to try and treat the back, the problem is not going to go away. And in cases like that, if it's a question of saddle fit, a professional saddle fitter may need to get involved to help sort out if your saddle is the correct fit for your horse. Ultimately, what do you do about it? If you have a back sore horse, it's affecting performance, you've ruled out or addressed the lameness issues, then you're going to have to decide, how do I get rid of the back soreness? And that's when you need to visit with your veterinarian. Those are the types of cases that there may be some medications that will get them through the issue. It's also the area where people who do what's called body work on horses, which means chiropractic work, osteopathic work, and even the acupuncturists sort of fit into that realm. You may need to look into utilizing someone with that background to help you get the problem decided. So to kind of summarize, you need to recognize what might be some signs of a back problem. You need to get it diagnosed, make sure there's no lameness problems, and then work with the appropriate personnel to get it resolved.